Oh, man.
I ain't know you needed one, boss.
There we go. Check, check, check. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? All right. Wonderful. And you can go ahead and switch over to the graphic now. Everybody online and all that stuff know that this is Pastor G. I want to welcome y'all to session number 2. If you were at session number 1, you know that the first session was about mindset. So I didn't talk about as much about cameras and technology, and I didn't talk about anything other than just what it takes to really think through being someone who is in this multimedia space. And so it was somebody had sent me an email. Was that you that sent me an email today? So, was it you? Yeah. Share that real quick for everybody so they can hear what you had said.
Just highlight the effect of the professionalism topic of last week and how productive it was for me. Just kind of started thinking through different areas where I can step up that professionalism and just set the standard.
Yeah, and I appreciated that because that's really was the point of last week. It wasn't really to think through because, like we said before, you can have equipment, you can have expensive equipment, but if you don't approach it the right way, you can make that expensive equipment look cheap. As I'll get. Hey, how you doing? So let me tell y'all a little bit about what's going to happen today. We wanted to cover, and I may get back into some of this if we don't get it done today. I wanted to cover different areas of multimedia, i.e., obviously video. I'm going to talk about the skill set today, right? Last week was mindset. This week is skill set. And Sister Stephanie is going to eventually put up a graphic, not yet, but she's going to eventually put up a graphic that I'm going to go through on video, okay? We got that? Now, then at some point, a good friend of mine, Larry Robinson, who owns a company in Memphis, Tennessee, is going to come on, and I hope we can hear him and everything. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to see. But he's going to come on, and he owns a company that does podcasting throughout the city of Memphis. And he done built it up to a whole nother level. Got a whole office with studios in it and all that great stuff. So he's going to talk about podcasting. And if you know anything about podcasting, podcasting is more than podcasting. Podcasting is also branding, right? Podcasting is subject matter expertise, right? It's more than just what, it used to be back in the day when you just had a microphone, you're doing your thing. People have done figured out, well, you can use podcasting to achieve other objectives and other goals. And so he's going to come on, he's going to talk about the skill set of podcasting. I was hoping we have another gentleman that I hope makes it back today who is able to come and talk about the audio side. Because even though I do audio, video, print, new media, multimedia, right? There are some things I'm better at than other things. So if you come to an event that I've done or that I'm producing, often you're going to see another person that's just there for audio. Because I can't focus on video at the level I need to focus on and then troubleshoot audio at the same time at the level that needs to be dealt with. So I always have someone else who's available to really share or who's available to really get into the nuts and bolts of audio. Let's see. The other is content creation. I have a young lady who's from Indianapolis, Lori Wilson. Some of y'all don't know who that is, but if you've been in Indianapolis maybe more than 10 years and paid attention, she used to be an anchor on Wish TV here in Indianapolis. She's now at I think it's ABC affiliate in Atlanta, Georgia. And she does most of my content writing. So there are some videos, if you've been to my Vimeo channel, there are some videos that you see that have narration and voiceover. 9 times out of 10, she's the one that wrote the content for those videos, okay? And she is amazing. I can literally send her a bunch of raw videos with time code at the bottom. She'll watch all those raw videos and spit out a script. Send it to me. I'll review the script, edit it down, send it to the client. The client will approve it, send it back. I'll do the voiceover and then begin to edit the piece together. And Lori Wilson really, to me, is, everybody can't do content, right? But when you find somebody that's really good at it and can turn around a product that makes you say, this is better than anything this is better than what I thought, right? That's Lori Wilson. So I look to have Lori Wilson on for photography. The gentleman I'm trying to bring on is a former intern of mine from Tennessee State University from back in 1998, I think it was. Emmanuel Rowland. Emmanuel Rowland owns a company in Nashville called Rowland's Photography. This brother is so innovative. He has an RV and has painted on the side the Rowland Experience that he drives throughout the city, and he sets up at places like Meharry Medical College, and they'll send all their employees down to this RV to get their headshots done. I mean, this dude is on another level. He's so deep that I was watching a documentary one day, and it just so happened to be showing Meharry Medical College's graduation, and who you think was taking photos? Emmanuel Rowland. I mean, this brother is on the cover of Bride magazine, okay? He's amazing, the things that he's done. And I had the privilege of allowing, how you doing, man? I had the privilege of allowing Emmanuel Rowland to set up in my office when he first got started. And so it's just a blessing to me to see how far he's gone. So when I talk about mogul, what did I say? Multimedia mogul maker, people like Rowland are the people that I feel responsible for after helping them get started. And I don't know if you've been following me on social media, some of y'all may have even seen another young lady I'd like to get on, and that is Theron Bond. If you're old enough, you might know someone named Julian Bond. If you know who Julian Bond is, he knows exactly who that is. This is Julian Bond's great niece. She was a student of mine at Tennessee State. Now she is a political contributor, which right now during the political season, you'll see Theron Bond on different television networks talking about this whole political thing. And she's another one that I claim. The last one I'd like to bring on is a guy named Chris Franklin. Chris Franklin was an intern of mine from Fisk University. He did not even get a broadcast journalism degree. They didn't have that at Fisk at the time. But because he interned with me, he went on into the media when he graduated, and he was just promoted to president and general manager of the ABC affiliate in Memphis, Tennessee. So I claim him, right? These are moguls that we're making based on even the simple stuff that we're talking about today. Even the simple stuff that we're talking about today. Larry is supposed to come on anytime now. So I tell you what, while we're waiting on Larry, let me go ahead and jump into that slide, Stephanie. Now, let's go around and see who's in the room real quick, because we got a few new people. Let's start over here.
Hi, I'm Shakira Straymore. I've been doing philanthropic marketing for 2.5 years. I graduated from Wilberforce University. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, and you're the one that I did the little Zoom with. Okay, gotcha. All right, yes, sir. Get yourself together. Can I talk about you real quick? Now say your name at least, so they know who I'm talking about.
My name is Caleb. My full name is King Caleb the Key.
Okay.
I'm gonna present me.
Yeah. No, you go ahead, because what I'm gonna say ain't gonna be what you want.
Less press with this. It just came. But yeah, I'm a content creator. I do the art form of writing. I love writing for real. That's just pretty much about my life and life experiences. I make music as well. I sing and rap. Make videos just based off just based off of this. Like, being honest, I record this and post it online. I feel like this is fascinating to me. And that's just how I do my videos and my life. But, I mean, it gets deeper than that, but it's just the grand scheme of it all.
Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna say about this brother is, for those who are new, I think you were here long enough to hear me talk about, but you weren't, me talking about opportunity. That if you have the right mindset, even for those who are participating in these sessions, we're seeking opportunity. And this brother was the first to send me a text message of a screenshot about Indianapolis being chosen in 2026 as the location for the next three collegiate championships in this city. What did I say last time? I said last time I said, when those folk come rolling in the city, we want to be at the table. We don't want them rolling their people in and not calling us and making sure that we got people in the mix. So I'm calling Lucas Oil Stadium to the manager of the studio there. I'm calling to Hinkle Fieldhouse, to the gentleman that we worked with when we did the Olympic event, when they had the Olympic swim things. We produced a video, we produced a production at Hinkle Fieldhouse. I'm calling all of them, and I'm saying, y'all got 2 years to figure it out. In addition to that, because of what you did, I couldn't sleep. I was y'all learning me, right? Y'all gotta learn me. I'm up looking at what it's gonna take for me to purchase a trailer and trick it out, right? So that we can just roll up. I can have 2 or 3 trailers rolling up all over the city where people qualified to go into those trailers and do production with remote production equipment, robotic cameras, PTZ cameras and all that good stuff. So that was all from the text message that you sent. Okay, so yeah, so and because y'all hearing this first, man. I hope y'all hearing it. I hope y'all hearing this first. Watch this. On Monday, I'm meeting with Eunice Trotter with Landmarks about writing a grant to get a team of people to begin to collect the historical information digitally on African American community. I'm meeting with her on Monday. Let's do it. Y'all feel what I'm saying? I told her, I said, I got a group of people that's meeting right now, right? And you talking, here's the thing. This stuff has to be done real time. You can't high-speed dub video, right? You can't. Now, if you get a DVD, you can do some things with a DVD, but you can't high-speed dub this stuff. That means that we have to build a budget on hundreds of thousands of hours of content. And and I'm telling y'all this because I used to do research for Indiana Black Expo, and there's tons and tons and tons of 16 millimeter film in the basement of Wish TV that I literally had to go to what's called a film chain and do like this, right? So this is a project that everybody can eat off of. I'm just doing it out for free. So we ain't playing with this. When we said it, we meant it when we said it. So do what this brother did, I know you done made the connection. So it's like, okay, you see some opportunity with this meeting. So we're gonna have this meeting on Monday. We're gonna talk about that. And then I'm also gonna reach out to some other folk to make sure that we are lining ourselves up to make sure that we gain access to some of these opportunities because we know they're gonna come. All right. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna come forward. Yes. Oh, introduction. Well, it's what happens.
Hi, I'm Faith McKinney. What else will we do? Faith McKinney, with myself, I'm with an organization, invited by Pastor Jim, thank you. I did produce a TV show on Channel 40 called Real People, Real Voices for 40 years. And I did interviews around town. And that's about 2 years. Yeah, thank you. Interviewed by this woman.
So we all know Faith is amazing. Faith is amazing in a lot of ways. She's amazing. And thank you for your diligence in showing up and helping last week and all that kind of good stuff. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Trinity Cunningham. I just graduated from Indiana State University with a Bachelor's of Arts, with a concentration in graphic design,
Good.
and a minor in African American Studies. I had the opportunity to go to Ghana after I graduated. So that was a really incredible experience. Very eye-opening, just kind of see that side of the world. But, yeah.
And so, what interests you in what we're doing here? Is it AV, social, graphics, print, video? What is it?
I think more so like graphics
Okay.
side of things.
Okay.
Just kind of see.
Okay. Get some of his notes. Get some of his notes from last week because we talked, and I hope you got into Affinity. I hope you checked it out. Affinity design, yeah. Affinity designer, affinity producer. Motivate the brother. Motivate the brother. Motivate the brother. All right, we ain't playing, right? We not playing. Like my guy said, you should leave last week like, where can I maximize? Where can I plug in? What problem was I created to solve? Like where, and I can get into some other stuff we won't. We'll keep it moving. All right, we're doing introductions, sir. You don't mind introducing yourself? Setting it up. That's fine. But I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked her. Like, what area are you like interested in? Are you? Because I know you. You know what? You've been wanting this for a minute, right? And you was like, bro, when you gonna do this? And I kept saying, we working on it. So we held true to our word. But I know that I think you had a camera sometime. Like, what are you interested in?
I'm interested in anything I can learn and benefit from.
Okay.
What I'm doing right now is music videos.
Okay.
I want to get into series and like movies and stuff like that.
Okay.
Anything with a camera, I got a lot of ideas with the camera.
Okay.
So what exactly else do you?
We're doing audio, video, print, new media, multimedia, graphic design, podcasting, content creation. We're talking about all of that.
Marketing?
Well, not really marketing necessarily, because marketing, unfortunately, I used to teach a marketing class at Ball State, and here's the thing: marketing is an umbrella. It's not a thing; it's an umbrella, and underneath marketing is advertising, social media, da 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 da. So in essence, we are talking about marketing, but we're not talking about marketing. We're talking about the elements of marketing, right? So I hope that makes sense, because a lot of people get advertising and marketing confused. Marketing is the umbrella. Advertising is a part of marketing, because then there's public relations, which is a part of marketing, right? So we can talk about that. If you have any questions, former, director of marketing here at Martin University. So, we can talk through that. Okay. We have today is the second session, and we have one more on August the 18th, and that's where we'll talk about tool set. August the 18th. Yep, August the 18th. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Tanya, and I guess I'll use the modern term for content creator. I produced a weekly 30-minute show that was interviews and videos back in the day, but there's the inconsistency with keeping that going. So now with the advent of YouTube and all that kind of stuff, I told you last week I start. So I'm back into starting things up again as far as productions. And I used to do interviews with national and local inspirational people. My show is called Inspiration.
Good. All right. So she
Get to it and expand on that and get to the next level, and also maybe do some short films, feature films, and produce some other content.
Gotcha. Wonderful. Yes, sir.
Frank Stone, freelance photographer. This is where I do some headshots to events. Shoot our first wedding in this month, so just excited.
Dang, I gotta get a manual on, man.
Just excited to be here and learn with you all.
All right, wonderful. Yes, sir.
Pastor Reverend Fletcher, Pastor Leawood Church, Baptist Church, just up the street here, as part of the community. We're trying to look at doing some partnering with Martin. We need to chat a little bit more. But we were just recently on TV, Channel 13. They're highlighting some of the things that we do in our ministry. We do a lot for a small church. We have 26 housing units in the neighborhood. We're actually doing a mental health hub. If you need a therapist, you come from the neighborhood. We have a therapist available for no charge. Family therapists, individual therapist, group therapy, art therapy. And then we also have a process of engaging the community. So we'll be in the community doing some things just to kind of get people connected, talking about crime, high crime in this area. So excited about that.
Yeah, wonderful.
So but we do have transitional housing as well.
See, all right, that's what you're there for. Yes, ma'am.
I didn't hear the name of your church.
Living Word.
Living Word. Okay, thank you.
And just so y'all know, I got an audio podcast running of this session, and somebody asking to drive if they can drive the trailer that we talk about building. So somebody like, can I drive? I ain't mad. Right? Somebody's got to drive it. What? Hey, I said, and I went over there and typed in sure. So we'll go with that. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Wendell Stewart, proud member of Living Word Baptist Church as well, and part of the media team at Living Word Baptist Church. Now, professionally, I am a CRA and mortgage loan officer for Union Savings Bank. So mostly community engagement events is my forte.
The guy ain't know yet, Larry.
How to build wealth, among the Black community and lower to my income area.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, I'm hoping we can hear him. I hope.
Credit so they can qualify for homes, and then expose them to different type of programs that can help them, in ways they need help in, whether it's down payment assistance or just educational on how to maintain your property.
You may have to mute me.
Other than that, I have a very extensive history in network marketing. Always done good by it. It's done good by me. I am a horrible Facebook friend, though. I tell you, I'm not the social media guru. I was great 3 years ago, and then I changed companies, so the team that was making me great and running the whole thing, I don't have no more. So now I have to learn how to do it myself, and I'll find somebody else to do it for me, and then I'll know how to manage them better because I'll know a little something more.
Yeah. All right. Y'all got everybody got it? Everybody got everybody? Some of you missed some of it, but it's all good. And some of y'all missed, you didn't hear what we said about some of the opportunity that's coming up. But again, you can ask somebody because there's a lot of great opportunity. I will reiterate this. The one thing that I said earlier, on last week about seeking opportunity for all of us to be able to go and do what we want to do and be able to eat off of these major projects that is actively being pursued right now. So we're going to find opportunity, okay? Is that all right? All right, good. While we've been doing all this chit-chatting, is this touchscreen or something like, oh, excuse me. While we go ahead and spotlight Kazukian. While we were talking, which is why I was doing that, I was trying to wait on Larry Robinson to come in. We're going to have to mute us so we can turn him on so we don't get feedback. But Larry, we coming to you. Can you hear me, Larry? Okay, all right. She gonna get you straight. All right, let me see if I can. Can you hear me, Larry? Hold on, I can't. Hold on, I gotta turn him up. Hold on. All right, go ahead and mute me. There we go. All right. Can you send him a message and tell him he's on? All right, I'm gonna have to probably type to him because he's not gonna know what we're doing because I can't talk to him without the feedback. Can y'all be patient? All right. Hold on. Let me get to the chat. Everybody. Let's say Larry. Okay, is he not seeing him? Come on, man. All right. Come on. Are you reading it? Are you reading it? Is he reading it?
Are you waiting for me?
I can't talk. Can you talk to him? Okay, if you could, because I get feedback. So let him know he's been introduced, and he can go ahead.
Okay, I can start.
Yes, yes. There you go.
Good. Okay, I apologize. I wasn't understanding. So, first and foremost, of the people that are on, what do they know about podcasts?
Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly.
Okay, so cool. Let me ask the question. Or tell me how you want me to ask it, and I can maybe get some hands raised.
Well, I want to know. What do they know about podcasts?
Woo. I see people scratching their head. Let's see. Does anybody want to share what they know about podcasts? And I see Faith. You kind of got your hand up. Let's see if you can hear.
So I don't know the technical parts about podcasting, but I've been on podcasts and I've helped host like Blog Pop Radio.
Can you hear her?
No, I can't hear.
Okay, she's saying she has been on podcasts. She's hosted podcasts. She doesn't know the technical aspect of it, but she is very familiar with it. Okay. Anybody else? But that's only one person. Anybody else? Okay, go ahead. What do you know? Okay, familiar with the software?
Okay.
Yeah. You have your plugins until I used to go to school for broadcasting audio.
Yeah, he said he went to school for it. It's coming to him. We're gonna have to come back to him once it done hit him.
Okay.
You know. Anybody else want to share? Okay, I got one here. Hold on just a second.
I've been on podcasts before.
Another one that's been on podcasts before.
And I've seen like the good deal. So we got a group that's got some familiarity and some level of knowledge in different areas. So that's really good. I need to share my screen. I can't share my screen.
Hold on. Let me give me a second. I really need Stephanie in here. Stephanie, he needs to be able to share his screen. I don't do this.
So you gotta go to
Here she come.
the settings and share host duties.
Here she come. I ain't the one. I'm not the one, my guy. Yeah, buddy. Ain't no shame in my game.
Okay, Larry, go ahead and give it a try.
Got it. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Can everyone see that on this end?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So I'm gonna go through this I know I don't have much time, and one thing is certain is that I love to talk. So I can talk all day and all night, especially about podcasting and basically content creation. John actually was one of the friends of mine that heard early visions of what podcasting and what Kazukian would be. And so I want to make sure that you guys know that Professor Girton has been on this Kazukian ride for a long time. So I started in podcasting back in 2013. I started listening to podcasts back in around 2008, 2009. And I started listening to podcasts because I was on the subways in New York and I'd be riding to different meetings, and you really don't have an opportunity to use the internet during these times. Now you got Wi-Fi inside the cars, but during these times you couldn't, pull Wi-Fi. So you actually needed to be able to have something, and podcasting was something that I could download and listen to. So moving right along,
The title of this presentation is Just Build It. And I'm going to go through it pretty quick since we do have some people that are familiar. If you need to stop me, please do put it in the chat and I can go, touch on whatever it is you have a question with. So I'm going to go through pretty fast. I think I'm going to go through pretty fast. Okay, it's not changing. My slides aren't changing. Let's see here. Try one more time. There we go. One more time. Okay, so once again, my company started back in 2014, started as a podcasting company. Currently, we have about 8 full-time employees on the for-profit side. On the nonprofit side, we have about 6 full-time employees, and then we have multiple 1099s or part-time employees as well. When you talk about podcasting, you got to think about what actually is it. Many people think when you say podcast that it's just an audio. It's just an audio file. It actually can be video as well. And it's because it's basically an audio or audio and video file that is put into place, a hosting or a platform that allows you to download it on demand. So it's basically just an on-demand file that you get to utilize when you need it for whether it's video that you want to see, audio, or whether it's a little bit of both. So how much does a podcast cost? Now, let me say this. There's levels to this. So if you think about it, you can do something. You can do a podcast for free. If you got one of these things, using mobile phone, if it's not showing up, there we go. If you got one of these things, you can do a podcast for free. You can actually use the mic that's on the phone and actually conduct an interview, and you got everything you need. So it can go from free all the way to what we do. We provide a business-to-business service. So we work with municipalities, government agencies, as well as corporations and nonprofits, the larger nonprofits, to do their podcasting for them and provide those production services for them. How do you make money on podcasts? Podcasts, you make money several ways. You can sell advertising within the show. You can sponsor the show. You can sell space to guests. You got multiple podcasts that actually sell their advertising or their hosting or their ability to be interviewed for different guests. So if they're music artists, you might want to sell the ability, once you get a bigger audience watching your shows, music artists are aspiring music artists or artists that, want to actually sell more music could come on your show. And that way you have some people that are charging, artists to come on their show. So there's various ways you can use podcasts. You can do a live show with your podcast and then charge admission to get in those live shows. So it's really left up to your creativity. And so, and because the medium is still relatively new, you can do a lot of different things to generate funds. And even some people sell merchandise. So have some real cool merch, real cool logo and whatnot, and you can sell the brand of your podcast as well. Are downloads important? Absolutely. Because it is what is your currency when you're talking with potential advertisers or potential guests. If you have a guest-driven show, like an interview show. So if you got a potential guest, you want to be able to go to them and say, I got as many downloads as I possibly can have. So you got to think about downloads. You got to think about making your product attractive to people that are potential listeners. So you want to make sure that you go to those spaces where those listeners or those viewers will exist, or they may be listening to other shows. So you promote your show that way so that it ultimately gets an opportunity to get in front of an audience that would be receptive to it. At Kazukian, we do a lot of different things. So once again, we do it with the corporations and political figures and government agencies in mind. So we pretty much take them through a 6-step process. I know I only have 5 here, but we've added one. And one of those is, and I'll get to it. Number 1 is ideation. So that's coming up with the big idea. And I think you should go through this process as well, just to make sure you got something that's going to be sticky, that's well thought out, and that you know is going to be able to build a good audience around it. So first is coming up with that big idea. What is this show or what is this piece of content going to be about? Second thing is developing it. Is it going to be twice a month? Is it going to be once a month? Is it going to be once a week? How is it going to be? Is it going to be a 15-minute show, 10-minute show, 8-minute show, 30-minute show, 2-hour show? Is it going to just go and it's not going to have any real time limits or anything? It's just going to go till the conversation dries off? All those are things that's decided in that development phase. Next is your production. How's it going to be captured? How are you going to capture the content so that it can be put up on the different sites or platforms so that it can be consumed later? So that's where you get your new production. Is it a video? Is it audio? Is it, do you just need microphones? All those things are decided. How many microphones you need? How many are you going to use multiple cameras? Is it going to be a multi-camera shoot? Is it going to be a single camera shoot? All that's decided during development and production. Then you go to distribution. Distribution is where the real rubber meets the road, because that's when you get it on the platform. So when you're thinking about podcasts, you're thinking about Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn app. You're thinking about all of those various places, Audible, all those various places that your product can be consumed. At Kazuki, we also distribute through OTT, which is on top of television, which is your Roku, Apple TV, Samsung TV, LG TV, Fire TV. So we do that as well. So once again, distribution, making sure that it gets out so that when you market it, which is the promotion piece, people that it's there and people can actually review it. Because chances are people are going to look for it a little bit, but if they can't find it, they're not going to look long, and chances are they're not going to come back. So you want to make sure you distribute first and then promote what you're doing afterwards. Lastly, which is not on there, is the analytics portion. The beauty about podcasting and all digital content. Yes, ma'am.
Can I stop you for a second for Pastor G?
Yeah, just hold on a second. I want to focus in on something real quick because you all will know.
Talking?
Yeah, hold on a second, Larry. I want to focus in for those in the class, this piece right here. That's what I'm going to talk about, by and large, what he's done. So it's what I like about this is that part of the strategy of the skill set that he's laying out doesn't change depending on which medium. You still got to do these same things to create product, whether it is a documentary, whether it is a commercial or a short doc or corporate video, whether it is a podcast, it doesn't matter what it is. And here's the other thing I really want to impress upon people. With all of this, it doesn't matter what you went to school for. It doesn't matter what you came in here for. There's several opportunities within this entire process that I guarantee you probably have not thought about doing. That where you can plug in and find a role, whether it's in writing or production or recording or editing, right? So there's a lot of opportunity in any of these product production pieces. We talked about marketing. Under marketing, it's PR, it's advertising, it's social media, it's organic, it's boosting, it's all of that. And so you can find a role even in the details underneath all of these things, if that makes sense. All right. And that's great opportunity, people, because that means that just because you know this doesn't mean you can't learn that. And doesn't mean you can't diversify and learn this and be able to be a Swiss Army knife and do several things and keep yourself busy when something else ain't rolling. Right. So anyway, I'm done, Larry. That's all. Go ahead.
All right, let's keep moving. So let's talk about ideation. You think about what's your reason for being, what's missing in the market that I need to fulfill? What would I want to listen to? Let's start with that. And that's how you come up with your big idea, and with your voice, set the right tone, make sure you do what the people feel when you determine that you're going to serve a certain market and you're going to serve them with that idea. Make sure that you understand that they're expecting that voice to consistently come back, consistently with new information, because you're developing your audience. And you want to think about avatars. You want to think of avatars. You know, what's that number one listener that or viewer that I'm going to talk to? What's her name? Where does she go to school? Is she a college graduate? Is she what type of job does she have? Does she have kids? Is she married? All of those type of things. Or he? It can be he. Or they. All of those attributes that are part of either demographic, which is your data, or psychographic, which is your lifestyle, makes a difference as to how when you think about your big idea, which is your ideation piece, how you're going to serve up this message. Then you think about development. Once again, is it audio? Is it video? Is it both? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Is it biweekly? Or is it multiple times a day? Now you have people doing podcasts 3 or 4 times a week. So, Stephen A. Smith is one who's actually doing his podcast 3 days a week. So all those things are part. Is it guest appearance? Is it interviews? Is it no interviews? Is it audio snippets? Are you going to cut away the different video that may exist on YouTube? All those things need to be decided during the development phase. 1 host, 2 hosts, multiple hosts, panel hosts. I mean, that's all decided in this part of the development phase, or the strategy of building your content. Then you talk about production. Now, production, we have it broken into 3 phases. You got pre-production. That's where you literally writing out your scripts. That's where you're determining what questions you're going to ask. That's where you're determining what happens in the show. You don't want to start a show without having show notes, what you're going to talk about during that show. Otherwise, you get the rambling, you get the going on, and then the next thing you know, you talked up your time if you got a set time, or your point has gotten lost in all the verbiage that you use. So you want to think about, production. Once again, is it going to be video, audio? What kind of mics you're going to use? Are you going to use boom mics? Are you going to use lapel mics? All of those things are determined in that production phase. And then post-production is your editing. That's when you're getting into motion graphics, making it beautiful for people to consume and to serve your audience. Now, if your audience is a group of farmers from middle of Indiana, you don't want to be having, the hip hop graphics and the bling bling and the stuff flying in. So all of that is a part of determining and how you're going to serve your audience. Then you talk about, once again, you get into pre-production, all that. We kind of talked through all of that. Distribution, podcast, video, social media, OTT. How you getting it to the people? How you getting it to the end users? That's all distribution is about. When they talk about, think about it from Amazon. You got all of those packages and you got all those boxes and all those items in one place. What's your method of getting it to the end user? How you going to get it to them? And that's how you think. Is it going to be on Spotify? Is it going to be on Stitcher? Is it going to be on Apple Podcasts? Is it going to be on YouTube? All of those platforms matter, and that's where you determine what your distribution look like. And at the end of it, you want to be at a platform that's going to give you great analytics, because that's what you're selling more than anything. Promotion, how you going to promote it? Social media is a vital part of any strategy for the most part. Good artwork is vital to making people stop on social media, because people are rolling. You want to have stopping power. So artwork is extremely important. Your branding piece is very important to, once again, serving and attracting an audience that's ideal for your product. Promotion, once again, all over. Social media, broadcast radio, billboards, outdoor boards, all that's up for determining different places to promote your piece of content. All right. Get into the bag, so we'll get into the bag. So once again, there's many different ways to make money on content and podcasting. Go sponsor route, go to investor route, go to advertising route, go to events route. I mean, all of that's possible. And you can come up with your own stuff. You can go the merchandise route and sell t-shirts and other branded items. It's up to you and it's up to your creativity. So once again, approach it as creatively as possible. There's levels to the style of podcasting. There's levels, you can be a hobbyist and then someone who just wants to do it. I'm just going to do it on the side. I'm going to do something that's fun and I'm going to maybe do it in my bedroom or my basement or at my kitchen table, sitting around with my partners. All of that works. There's spaces for that. But then you got, subject matter experts. Subject matter experts, for the most part, they're not looking for mass adoption of their product. You know what? They want to talk to specific individuals about specific things. I'm a civil engineer. I want to talk about, being the work that goes into or the information that's needed for a civil engineer. So I'm not concerned about millions of people listening to me. I'm really interested in a few hundred that are going to really be able to benefit. That's where your subject matter experts come in. And then you got mass market. Those are your Stephen A. Smiths. Those are your Shannon Sharps, and Club Shay Shay and Joe Rogans and all those. That's where you make that's where you get the big mass market podcasts. And there's various levels I want to stress. And you got to decide where you want to enter the game. But I definitely think if you want to be taken seriously, you want to make sure and consider doing a podcast because it's your calling card when someone is looking for a person that has a service or a business that they need. And that's pretty much it. I hope I didn't take too much time, but if there's any questions or if you just want to check out some cool stuff, check out Kadzukian.com. And we got a lot of content up there, and you can pretty much Google us as well. And once again, there's plenty of content out there. Now, I'll take any questions if you have any.
All right, anybody have any questions? She'll repeat the questions for you if you have any questions for him at this time. Anybody? Man, Larry, that was amazing, bro. Anybody have any questions? None?
Where's located in Memphis?
Where are you?
Larry, where are you located in Memphis?
I am located in Midtown.
Okay. So, we can stop and check you out then.
Somebody know something about the M-Town?
Yes, one of the members said they want to stop and check you out.
Our office is located out at Agri Center. We got about 5,000 square feet out at the Agri Center, and then we're about to build a facility in downtown Memphis. We're actually in construction of a new facility, a second facility in downtown Memphis.
Is there benefits to?
And you're more than welcome to come check us out.
Like starting off a podcast, do you think it's more beneficial to go for more, a target small market niche? Yeah, niche market, or to go for the masses?
Is it more beneficial when starting a podcast to target a niche audience or a larger audience?
I always say the riches are in the niches. Because I think to try to serve a big, broad audience with so many options out there, I think if you don't have, especially it could cost a lot of money. And if you're dealing with limited resources, I think the best option is to deal specifically and focus on a niche. And then once you are able to capture that niche well, expand from there.
Good question.
That's my recommendation.
Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Say what? Oh, she said connect with her on LinkedIn.
We've got someone connecting with you on LinkedIn.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Larry, thank you, sir. I'm going to move
You're more than welcome, brother. Thank you.
my part, and we'll see you a little later.
Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.
So back to that graphic we had. All right, hopefully that was beneficial. What I like about it is many of the things that he talked about in the skill set piece is very similar to what you're gonna see on this graphic here, right? So it's not a heavy lift to shift from one thing to the other. But the biggest thing, and I'm gonna repeat it, but I want to drive home, is that there are tasks and roles and responsibilities all underneath here that a person could decide that they want to participate in. Here's why that's important. Are y'all ready? I'm not gonna tell you unless you're ready. You ready? All right. Here's why that's important. Because in the world that we live in, okay, it's kind of like mowing grass in terms of having a skill that you could. Is the mic on? Okay. All right. I need to turn this down. That's what's going on. I'm hearing myself. There we go. Everybody knows somebody that cuts grass, right? Everybody knows somebody that shovels snow, right? It makes sense that when the grass stops growing, how am I going to keep making money? I better have a snow shovel somewhere, right? So it's the same thing in our industry. If you want to keep eating, you have to diversify your your product offering. That's why one day I can design a print job. I can design a book. And then the next day I can produce a video. And then over the weekend, I can do a website. And then the following week, y'all get what I'm saying? I can edit some audio because I've diversified in such a way that I can take advantage of demand in multiple areas. Okay? And with regard to this, it's not enough today. It used to be. It used to be you could just do one thing, and you just the person that just takes the little thing up and that's all you do. Not anymore. Now, one person can literally do all of these things. Is that making sense? Okay? And I really don't know what all they teaching at Wilberforce. I don't know what they teaching anyplace else anymore. My last teaching gig was at Ball State. But I do know that when I left Tennessee State University, I left Ball State, we were teaching people how to do pretty much everything on one system. So when you got into the Adobe suite, you learned Adobe Premiere, you learned Lightroom, you learned Illustrator, you learned everything. You learned After Effects, you learned everything, right? Just so you are able to get done what you need to get done. One person sit down, by the time that person get up, everything is done. Don't have to send graphics out to nobody, ain't got to send script out to nobody, ain't got to do none of that. All that can be done. Color grading, graphics, all that in one spot. Right? So your ability to move from one thing to the next thing to the next thing is the opportunity here. Ain't nobody mad if you want to be the best videographer. If you want, that's great. You can do that. You can know the f-stop, you can know the shutter speed, you can know all of that stuff. You can know all your filters and everything. I ain't mad, right? But you might want to learn how to turn that from M to that camera and know how to frame and know your vectors and know your headroom and your lead room. Because you might have to do that when the photography is dry, right? And then once the photography goes back up, turn it from that camera right back to M, and now you can pick up and do that. That's real, y'all. That is so real. And I have people all the time that call me up and ask me, man, you got anything going on? You got any work going on? You got any projects going on? And I tell them the same thing all the time, like, bro, like you need to diversify. You need to diversify. You cannot eat all day when the seasons change. You got to diversify, okay? Any questions about diversification and all these different things, skills that we talked about? No? All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so for what I do with regard to video production, and we can talk about graphic design too if you want to. Just go ahead and write some questions down and we can jump into that. But for what I do, I want to harp on this part here. He called it ideation, right? We call it pre-planning, pretty much a similar thing. I wish the young lady from TSU was here today because I would drill down on when we were building the new studio at Tennessee State University. one of the things that I raised my hand about was y'all didn't build a conference room. Y'all didn't build a room where we can do this. You built places for this and for this, but you didn't build any place for us to get some pizza and some pop, lock ourselves up, and throw things against the wall and to see what sticks. Nothing should start without this, right? The idea, again, he called it ideation, we call it pre-production, we call it research, right? That's what, to me, research in the world that I'm in, that means that if somebody comes, and I'm talking graphic design language real quick. If somebody comes to me and say, Pastor, I need a billboard. Research, I'm charging you for research. But you know what research is? I'm driving around the city looking at other billboards, right? I'm flipping through magazines. If I get stuck in my creative process, I get up, and my wife will tell you, I'll go someplace where there's a big window and I just want to see movement. It may seem crazy, y'all, but for me, in terms of creativity, I need to see something. I can't go into a room where all the walls are the same color and think I'm going to be a graphic designer. It don't work like that. I got to get some ideas. And I'm going to tell y'all how it works with me. And maybe it works with some of y'all. Like when I'm looking through a magazine, I'm picking up colors and elements and shapes and sizes. And I'm picking up backgrounds and foregrounds and images and poses. I'm picking all of that up. And in my mind, I'm just giving y'all a little bit of a brain. In my mind, it's like a file cabinet where every time I see something, I'm looking at an ad, but the only thing I like is where the logo is placed. And I just file that away. I'm keeping going. And then I look at another and I say, oh, those colors look good together. File that away. I'm driving down the street. I look up on a billboard. Man, that font combination is really making it happen. File it away. You see how that works? And by doing that, that's my research. So that when it's time to sit down and do the job, all I do is open up that file cabinet and start pulling that stuff out. Logo, fonts, I'm looking for the fonts, liking that color where that is. Let me get this. This is a big one. Because photography is everything. It adds. I'm just going to be real. If you get good photography, it makes graphic design easy. I said something and ain't nobody wrote that down. That's huge. Good photography makes graphic design easy. When you got somebody that knows how to take the photo and give you what's called right reading or left reading, you can recreate it now. Yeah. But back then, you couldn't recreate that. It's like, oh, you need an artist to fix that, right? If I want to put words here, but you didn't give me enough room to do it, or you cut somebody's head off, or they shot the photo of them, and the arm is off, and you got to redraw the arm. That's how we used to have to do it. You know what I'm saying? So having good photography makes your job crazy easy. So even knowing where to go to get, Jesus, I was the first black designer in the history of a company called Davies C. Cook Publishing in Elgin, Illinois. We talked about Cook Communications International. They had never hired an African-American designer in 150 years until me. I get there, and now my job, of course, is to make sure that there's representation, right? Now, this was back in the day. You didn't really have the internet like you had today. We had these CDs with these catalog books that was like this big. And you had to look through the catalog, and if you saw something you liked, you picked up the number, and then you went to the CD, searched the CD to find the image, and then purchase the image, or you license the image so that you could use it. I could spend, listen to me, y'all, I could spend all day looking for one image of an African American doing what I needed them to do. Right? One of the reasons why I didn't have a problem picking up photography, because I got tired. I got tired of looking for us doing normal things, like pushing. You feel me? Oh, we're driving forklifts, right? But we don't have calendars, we don't have calculators and spreadsheets. We ain't doing that. We still got that problem to this day. Finding images is very, very, and let's just be real. Real images, because here's what they'll do. I don't mean to get sidetracked, but this is important for y'all to notice. Here's what the industry would do. The industry says diversity is important. So when when you look at iStock.com, when you look at, even if you go into Canva, you say, I'm looking for some images in Canva. When you start looking at those images, what are you seeing? Asian, white, black, and then you like, that ain't what my church look like. And this is not the hairstyle that my people are wearing. And oh, by the way, everybody ain't smiling in the photos. Some people, you know what I'm saying? Life done got them and they want a real picture of a real person with real braids and some zits. You know what I mean? This is what we kind of deal with. So even in the process of this, you got to be real here with what you really want so that you can go and do the research and find what that thing is that you need, right? Seriously. And hopefully once you find it, because now, once you find it, you can always go to it. So now some of y'all may have found Pixel, P-I-X-E-L. You found Pixel, right? Anybody who doesn't know what Pixel is? You can tell them what Pixel is.
So what I use Pixel for is like B-roll, and if y'all know what B-roll is, so when I shoot my music videos, I can take like pictures and videos, like drone shots, usually whatever you type in 3D. So it's basically for like B-roll or images or videos or something that you're looking for specific.
Yep, and it doesn't cost you anything.
It's free.
It doesn't cost you anything. Now, depending on what you're looking for, you might have a hard time. There are times when you look for something, it's difficult to find what you want. But that has more to do with licensing than anything, because people know that I'm not going to put free stuff on Pixel if I know I can put it on iStock and make some money. That's just real. But that's just economics, right? There's another one, Envato, N-E-N-V-A-T-O. Who knows about Envato?
Is that free too?
No. But with the one subscription, you can download to your heart's content. Some of y'all, if you go drive down MLK right now and you look at the banners, I designed those banners. And some of the stuff in the banner I took from Envato and I just basically modified it and made it work for what I was doing. So E-N-V-A-T-O. And I think it's like Envato Elements, I think. It's a great place to go. You can get photos, but again, you're going to be searching. You're going to be searching, trying to find what you need. There's another thing that I typically do in this area right here this is just a skill set. Don't be mad at me as a message. I'm just giving it to you. Is in your research, you have to be organized. Now, for me, this is what I do. So I've been doing it so long that one of the first things I do automatically is I go to my hard drive and I create a folder. I name the folder based on what the project is. I go into the folder and then I create subfolders for graphics, photos, music, B-roll, A-roll. But you know what A-roll is? It is. So where that came from is in order to produce video back in the day, they did it with, I know you gotta go past it. They did it with film strip cameras. And they had a film strip and they had a B film strip. And they would switch back and forth. And that's where A-roll and B-roll came from, right? And so I'll put a folder just for the main or raw video, maybe, right? And then I have a folder. But the purpose of all of this is to be organized. Because the last thing you want to do, come on in, the last thing you want to do is to get deep into a project and you can't find something, right? Or, heaven forbid, something crashed. Okay, and I already shared with y'all, I had a Lassie hard drive that I gave to one of my students to do a project, and she called me crying. And I said, what happened? She said, well, I had it, and it was wrapped around my leg, and when I got up, it fell to the ground. I said, shake it. She shook. I said, is it right? She said, yeah. I said, it's over. It's over, right? And so it's this process here also must include being organized, labeling your SD cards. Yeah, we'll talk about this. Okay. Back in the day, was labeling your tapes, putting the tape on the spine, and making sure that you put the date, the location, right, all of that on your SD cards. And even if you don't put it on your SD card, you better put it somewhere. Because eventually you're gonna be like me, and you're gonna have like 100 SD cards. And when you're trying to find something, it's gonna be very difficult to find, right? This is all part of organizing, okay? Since I'm talking about it, file names. Since we're talking about it, file names. All right, being consistent with file names. When you find a video file, it's best to name it so when you're looking for it, you can find it without it being a string of characters or a string of letters, right? Y'all see when it's like we go to Canva, you download that image from Canva, and they come with a name, about to, go all the way across the room. No, you can't find nothing like that. Okay, that's one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of Apple Photos. Is that it? Apple Photos? Oh my God, I'm not a fan of that. I love Apple products, but the way they manage photos, they'll put, if you go look for a photo, you go look for it, it's in a folder, that's in a folder, and then it's in a folder, and in the folder, there's a thumbnail and the regular, come on, y'all. And they names all over the place. Y'all don't want to get bit by that right here. Okay? Now, one of the other things that I'll do here in this pre-planning is in the process of doing the research. Again, I will ask the client, hey, you need a video. We're talking about video production. You need a video, or say you need graphics, or you need a billboard, or you need a banner, or you need a bus pitch, backlit sign, you need a bus tail or something. Whatever that is you need, I might say to that client, go find 2 or 3 things you like and send it to me. Right? Y'all see where I'm going with that? They're helping me with the research. Okay? And when they go out and they find website that they like, I just told a client that a couple nights ago. We was on a call. I said, bro, we got to get your website done. Go find 3 websites that are doing what you want and send them to me. Okay? Now, am I going to create a duplicate of that? Absolutely not. But it's going to tell me what kind of features he wants on the site. What kind of plugins does he want on that site? What the horizontal navigation looks like on that site. When we go from the desktop to mobile, what does it look like on the mobile for that site? Is this an image intensive site or is this a content intensive site? Are there other plugins like forms that he wants? Does he want live streaming or do he want video on the site? When I see that website or when I see that graphic, it tells me what kind of imagery they're looking for, what kind of colors they're looking for. Is this a graphic where photos are dominating and the graphics in there are sort of taking a back seat to the image? Or, and this is kind of Canva. Canva kind of gives you a bunch of stuff and then they kind of stick a photo in something, like a circle or something, which is okay, fine, if that's what you're into. But that's one of the ways I know it's Canva. I know it's Canva if the photo is taking a back seat to a bunch of graphics, right? So that's just me just chit-chat. But these are decisions that could be helped if you ask the client, help me out by showing me what you're thinking about. When they do that, then they send me a video and I see the video, it's like, okay, this is a talking head, it's one angle, in the environment or in a studio or on a green screen or outside or whatever I see. That also helps me in this pre-planning phase, because now that I see what they're thinking, I can start planning in my head, okay, we have to take and build a studio on site. I can't bring it to my studio because based on what he's showing me or based on what she's showing me, I got to go into their office and I got to set up lighting, y'all know 3-point lighting and all that kind of good stuff. I have boom, microphone, camera. Then I got to think about stuff like this. If you're a professional, you're gonna think like this. I have to do a site visit. Now you done showed me what we got to do. Now I got to come. I got to see it. Why do I got to see it? Are there windows? Right? Windows are two-edged sword because you don't know what the sun gonna be doing on the day you're gonna be there. Right? So windows are two-edged sword. The other thing is, big deal. Where's the power? Is there electricity? Is it in the floor? Is it in the wall? It's in the wall. Where is it? Right? Fluorescent lights. Right? You cannot use fluorescent lights with the cameras that we use. Y'all know why? Because fluorescent lights, they flood. You can't tell, But right now, there's some lines going down just like this from these fluorescent lights. But your camera sees that. And then when you get into the editing room, you're trying to figure out what's that funny line running through the, what is that? It's because you left the fluorescent lights on. Right? This is why you got to do a site visit. Where's the power? Where's the lighting? The natural lighting. Where's the artificial lighting? What kind of artificial lighting? Is it fluorescent or is it, what's the other one? Halogen. Is it halogen? Okay? Because that tells you what you got to bring to the party. Right? You walk into, sometimes it's better to go into a room and ain't got nothing. Just give me power. Nowadays, I don't need power. I've got Sony batteries. I don't need power. I got it. I got everything I need. I bring in everything I need. I don't need no power. Right? Sometimes that's better than going into, but if you see that that client is showing you something where you realize I got to go on site, got to do a site visit. I do it all the time. I got to see, what am I dealing with? What am I working with? Okay? All of this is right here. Sometimes I can't even give a client an estimate until I go on site. I can't tell you what it's going to cost because I don't know what I'm going to be dealing with. Yes, sir.
You know, John, one of the things too in pre-planning and doing a site visit is ambient sound. Because a lot of times there's like a hum or something, or like 15 minutes in, some generator kicks on or the air conditioner kicks on, and now you got sound that you weren't expecting, and you got to figure out how to compensate for that sound.
And we even, I mean, I'm to the point now where if somebody asks me to do a video by the airport, I'm already like, whoa, it's like slow up. Planes are going to be flying over you every X number of minutes. Okay. Software now has hum filters that if you do anything with video, you'll probably see there's a little button for the hum filter, and that hum filter is designed to search for that frequency and delete it. It's better if you use something like not Audacity, but what's Adobe Smart for audio? I can't think of the name of it. Adobe Audition. That's it. Adobe Audition is better for that than just clicking a button. I don't think that the frequency always works out in like Premiere or Final Cut Pro, but there are some things that are out there to adjust for those things. But at the end of the day, these are the considerations you need to have. Here's another one I'm going to throw out in this research part that you probably would not think about, and that is the lens. The lens is important because in this part here, simply because if the room is small, say for somebody wants you to come and shoot an interview in somebody's office. You go to the site visit and you see that the room is like a quarter of this room, now we got a problem. The problem is that if I want to do professional video and I need shallow depth of field, shallow depth of field. Who knows what shallow depth of field is, or depth of field at all? Okay, talk to me about depth of field real quick. Put that out there.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is like the background, like if the camera's here and you're shooting the subject here, you might want to have a distance between the subject and the background, so you have like a little blurry, so that'll be
correct. All right, so most of y'all know, if you watch 2020, are you with me? If you watch a murder show or one of them shows where they do, Dateline, there it is, Dateline, thank you. If you watch those shows, when they do those interviews, the background is 100% always out of focus, blurry, sometimes called bokeh. How do they achieve that? So there's two ways of achieving. The first way is that you have a 1.7 lens, a 1.6, a 1.4, which is ridiculous. That's, when I say 1.4, your nose is in focus and your ears is out of focus. Wow. Ain't that deep? So you got to be real careful. You interviewing somebody with a 1.4 and they do like this, they out of focus. They do like this, they in focus. Y'all ain't here. I'm telling you, I'm helping y'all out. All right? But you don't have to stay at 1.2, 1.4. You can boost up to 2 point whatever. If you do that, the whole head is in focus. But as soon as you get behind the head, it's out of focus. First way you achieve the most professional looking video you can achieve, the first way you do it is you have the right lens. Problem is, a lens like that gonna cost you what? Huh? Yeah. But maybe not that. Quite that. I got a 1.7.
Okay.
I got a 1.7 for my Lumix camera, and it costs almost as much as the camera. Okay? So I'm just being honest. Okay? And sure enough, you can't get it off the kit lens. What's a kit lens? That's the lens. That's the lens that comes. Right. Almost impossible to do that. No, excuse me. But here's the thing. The second way you achieve shallow depth of field to get that professional look. If you don't have, you got a kit lens, okay, I want to get that done. Here's what you do. You put the camera right here. And you put the subject note right there. And make sure that the distance behind the subject and the wall is stupid long. And if you put the subject here and the camera literally right here, you will achieve the blurry background. But what happens when you go on a site visit and the office is the size of, you don't have the distance to achieve the professional look? I'm just helping y'all. Now, this is compromising your project, your product. I can't give you the professional look because the room you got me shooting in is so small. Either you're going to just do it and know that it's going to look like, you shot it with your cell phone, which I'm not mad at that either. Do what you got to do. But these are things that you figure out where? Way up here. You don't want to show up for production and you like, oh my God. Dude, by then it's too late. You do that up here. And if the client is paying enough for you to go buy the lens because the room is too small, you better charge them up here. You can't wait till you get down here. It's too late at that point. Okay? Same thing with graphics. The reason why I asked you to send me a sample of what you like or what you're looking for is because I don't have time to get the graphics done and you to say, oh, I got 50 million revisions. The colors are wrong, the fonts are wrong, the size is wrong, all this stuff is wrong. Like, wait a minute. We should have figured that out way down here. Okay? Can I step into pre-production real quick? Pre-production. Now I got all my planning. I've done the site visit. I know where we're going. I know what it looks like. I know where the windows are. I know what the lighting is like. I kind of know what the client wants. I've already sent the estimate off to the client, let them know, how much it's going to cost. They've approved it. Now we get into pre-production. Now we're calling videographers. We're calling graphic designers and people that write scripts. We're calling people and we're saying, hey, we got a project. Now I need to schedule this thing out. When are we going to show up? What time is setup? What time is tear down? Does this make sense? Right? Who's doing the interview? Who's writing the questions? Who's approving the questions? Right? All those things are now coming into the mix in pre-production. Now we're about to make it happen. It says storyboard. Again, who doesn't know what a storyboard is? Raise your hand if you don't know what a storyboard is. Okay, good. So you know what it is? Storyboard? Okay, good. Well, you said, sorry. Okay, so a storyboard looks like a comic book. Okay, basically. Back in the day, you used to say the Sunday comics. Remember the Sunday comics? We don't do that part anymore. But it's just basically showing what's on screen, what's being said, what's on screen next, what's being said, who's on screen next, what's being said. That's a storyboard. Those are very, very important to do, especially depending upon how long, like if it's a music video. There's a lot going on during that particular time frame. You need to know. The camera's going this way, the timer goes that way. Because as a director of a video, and my man knows a little bit about this because he does music videos. As a director, you can be the videographer and the director at the same time. But you better know how you're telling people to move. Because if you don't, when you get into the edge of the room, the person went the wrong way and you can't go back and shoot. It's over. We're done. Right? But dude went this way and he was supposed to go that way. And now you can't line it up because, right? That's why storyboards are so important. You can see, oh, this is what's behind. That's what's supposed to be happening. This is where people are supposed to be going. That's where the camera's going to be. This is when we're going to spin this way. We're going to spin that way. Oh, I need the gimbal for this because we got to run for this shot, right? I don't need the gimbal for this one because this is just a static shot. Just boop, tripod, next. Have your little camera monitor here. Action, keep it moving, right? Nothing's happening here. There's a difference between zooming in. Okay. There's a difference between zooming in and what we call pedestaling in. All right. Pedestal is when you got a gimbal, for instance, and you're walking in like this, not zooming in. Are y'all with me? Totally different shot, totally different effect, totally different feel, right? When you pedestal in, your heart rate goes high, right? Because it's literally like this. That's pedestal. Okay, and we get the word name pedestal from the fact that news stations have pedestals, and the cameras is on pedestals, and you literally crank it. You would crank it and aim the feet in the wheels in a certain direction and push the pedestal in like this. So that's what we call pedestal. Pedestal in, pedestal out. So those things show up in a storyboard. Okay, shot plan is different. A shot plan is similar to when we produce events. When we produce events or something long form, a shot plan is what's built off of what's called a run of show. Whew, y'all ain't writing this stuff down. A run of show. When I do events, long form events, one of the first things I ask for is the run of show, not the agenda. I don't want the itinerary. A run of show. Here's why. A run of show says when something starts, what that something is, and how long that thing's lasting. Are you with me? And then it goes to the next thing. So it's from this time to that time, this is what's going on. And then from this time to this time, that's what's going on. And so the shot plan is telling me during that time, when that's happening, what's on screen. Well, this next thing is happening at this time. How do I get from that shot to the next shot? Is there a transition? Is there a graphic flying across the screen? Is there music? Is it dissolved? Like how are we getting from this to that? It may seem simple, but it isn't. Because in our business, every single second has to be planned out. You got to know. I see you. And when you come, like for instance, if you see if you saw the video screen of us doing an event, on the left side of the screen are what we call scenes. Those scenes represent these shots. So whatever shows up in the shot plan, I create a scene for it, right? And so I'm looking at a ton of those shots that allows me to go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, without worrying that something crazy gonna happen. Like I'm gonna get the wrong shot. Does this make sense? But that's built on the runner show. If a client does not give me a runner show, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to sever a contract with them because they're making my job a living hell. If I don't know what's happening or what you're doing, here's the other thing that this is going to do. Once I got that shot sheet done and I got that runner show, here's what I'm doing at Lucas Oil Stadium. We're doing a run-through, a walkthrough, kind of like a dress rehearsal, or what we call, and I don't know if it's on here, it's not on here, but what we call blocking. Blocking. What is blocking? I'm on the 6th floor of Lucas Oil Stadium. I'm directing all the cameras that are on screen, but I'm also telling somebody on the floor, have this person stand up, walk this way, come to the stairs, walk up. This person will meet them in the middle. They'll get the award. They'll turn around. They'll smile. They'll then turn around, split. That person goes back that way. That person goes that way. I have said a mouthful. There are people that don't block. And when the program starts, people look crazy, running into each other. Photographer, where's the photographer at? So if somebody got a cell phone over here, they're looking at the cell phone perfectly. Photographer over there. Because nobody said nothing to nobody. Nobody told anybody. Faith. Is Faith out there? Oh, snap. Faith, my daughter, ran side stage at Lucas. I'm talking to the people down on the floor. She's getting the message. And her job is to make sure that on this side, that the MC is up and down, and that the people that are supposed to speak or give awards are waiting for their turn to go up. You can't wait till your name called and then you're going to get up out your seat. And you in Lucas Oil and you're going to walk from your seat. What kind of sense does that make, right? So what are we doing? Because the shop sheet says that, Shanika, you up next. Faith is going, hey, I need you to come on. You got to be side of stage and ready to go. If you don't have, for long form video, I ain't talking about music video, long form video. If you don't have that stuff sorted out ahead of time, all right? Who was it? Tamika Catchings drove us nuts. Okay? She stood up and she walked the wrong way. All right? And what happened was that we knew it. There's nothing we could do. I told him, I said, I'm upstairs screaming and hollering, right? I'm like, she's going the wrong way, she's going the wrong way. He's like, no, I can't change it. She's halfway up there now. So what happens? She gets up to the steps and the MC trying to come down, she tried to go up because she went up the wrong steps. So now we got to deal with this accident now. It went okay. All right, nobody knew. Everybody thought it was great. But that's why we do things. Okay? Any questions about that? Yes, sir.
I was just going to go back to what you were talking about, the run a show. A run a show and script is not the same thing. Some people will give you a script and leave you to figure out what the run a show is. And you got to tell them, I don't need your script. That's what people are saying.
Yeah.
I want to know to run a show, like you said, when is this going to happen? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And blocking means sometimes, not like alone, but if you, like you said, in somebody's office, you might have to stop, move your camera,
Yes.
or change your lighting.
Correct.
Get another person in there, or whatever it is. And sometimes people, they mess up, and they, well, you can tell, okay, stop, and let's start over, 3, 2, 1, and then we'll pick up from that point and go forward. But the run a show is more important for blocking than a script.
Most definitely. And I get people to give me orders of worship. You know what I'm saying? They give me an order. I'm like, well, what am I doing? This is not what I need. I can't do nothing with this, right? And I don't do a lot of films. I know you like film, and I know you like film, and some others may like film. I don't do a lot of film, so I don't do a lot of casting necessarily. But that's part of this process. Again, this is the scheduling part. Who's going to do what? You got to do casting calls and all that. This is where those things happen. Of course, scripting, which again, to his point, these are not the same. These are not the same thing, right? And again, when you're looking at some of the stuff I do, which is maybe corporate video, the script, there's multiple ways for the script to be played out. Oftentimes, my script isn't written until after we have done a treatment, a video treatment. Are you writing this stuff down? A video treatment. What is a video treatment? A video treatment is when I tell you what kind of music video I'm looking for in a paragraph. This is the kind of music video I'm looking for, right? Once that treatment has been done, as a producer, I look at that and I say, okay, based on what it is this person wants done, this is what I'm going to have to do to achieve what that person has said, right? So you need that treatment to help you, but once I understand what they want, I can go shoot it, I can storyboard it, I can do this part, I can go film it, take the film, send it to the script writer, who can then use the script as like thread to sew the video together. Does this make sense? As long as we understand what the objective here, like what we trying to do here, like what is the true essence of what it is we're producing. If we understand that, that drives the questions, the interview, that drives all of that stuff, and we capture all of that, take the answers, send it to the scriptwriter. The scriptwriter takes those answers, organizes them, and then uses the script to glue it all together. Okay? It glues it up. And I tell you what, if you watch a video, a documentary, or like I said, Dateline, I can't keep it. If you watch those, what you'll notice is that the script always either tells you what's about to be said or tells you what was just said. In other words, they have the video and they use the script to set up what you're about to see. Making sense? It's not rocket science. Yes.
The other thing that helps you in post-production is B-roll. You know, because like you said, when you're switching from one scene to another, it's to avoid what's called a jump cut. Like one scene, you see somebody sitting here, and then the very next scene ain't like that. That's a jump cut. But you need something to cover that, and that's what's called B-roll. And B-roll can be a variety of things. You show a butterfly or something, you know. It's just something to cover going from one scene to the next scene without it jarring the viewer's senses.
And it does way more than that. It also helps support what's being said. And since you mentioned it, let's get to the production part. Because even if you are, let's say you're doing a music video, I don't know how you produce them, but back in the day when I was producing music videos, I had a formula in my head. My formula was, I'm gonna shoot the whole thing on a wide, and then I'm gonna zoom in and I'm gonna shoot the whole thing, maybe handheld, up in your face, and that becomes my bass track. And then I go and I do the B-roll, which is everything else. I might shoot it from down low, and I might be walking around you like this, you know, with the camera looking up. I might get way up in the building and shoot you down there, whatever. And those are the things that, like the B-roll, help tie it all together so that it's an interesting video. Now, the rest of the skill that's necessary is knowing how to edit it to the beat, how to edit it and make sure that, like if you're really a good director, you can tell somebody to swing around like this and make the edit work with their actions. But you got to be a really good editor. I'm not saying that nobody's a good editor. This is just some things to think about. And there's ways you can learn how to do that to make, you know, if somebody does like this, and you can make that edit work with that because it goes with the next shot. I mean, there's a lot of things. You see it in commercials all the time. Look at a commercial like for Coca-Cola or Nike or something, or just watch those commercials. Sometimes they only have words. It's just all motion and music. And just watch the shots and the way that they do things, right? And like I said, I always gonna tell you, go find what the big people doing with the big budgets and try to duplicate it. If you see them making a move like that, how can I make that? You watch some of them highfalutin directors doing music videos. How can I do that? How can I achieve that? You may not have the expensive equipment, but like I said, even if you have a kit lens and you know the technique, you can take that kit lens and make that kit lens look like it's $1 million. Get the same shot. You can do it with an iPhone if you know what you're doing. You just gotta learn, you know, how to get it done. And that's in this filming, interviewing stage. And then post-production, because I gotta get out y'all's here. We got a few minutes and I want to make sure if you have any questions you can ask me. And then post-production, of course, if you've done a good job, and some of y'all already gonna know what I'm gonna say. If you've done a good job here, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. Matter of fact, if you out shooting and you do a good job here, you could have somebody while you're shooting telling you that's a good take, that's a bad take. And they could be saying green, red, green, red, green, red. And then when you get to the post-production, you say, only give me the green. And then you got all the good shots, so that when you, did I do that?
No, I think.
Okay. Okay, you did that. Okay. There we go. So once you get in here and start editing, if you've done a good job in the pre-production, post-production, shouldn't take much at all. Okay. Now I will say this, because some of y'all will probably try to do some work with me, and that's great. But understand, because I've been doing this so long, I can do all of this just while I'm standing talking to you. You don't see it, but I'm doing it in my head. I'm doing the storyboard in my head. I'm looking at all that. And so by the time I'm done talking to you, I've got that. I want that for all of y'all. I want all y'all to be able to have somebody come to you and say, hey, I need a flyer. And you say, okay, this is what I need to know. And they'll talk to you, and while they're talking, you're doing it. So by the time they get done talking, you already know what you're going to do. You already got it figured out, right? Social media, same thing. You know where you're going to go, you know what you're going to do, you know what you're going to boost, you know what's going to be organic, you know what's going to be on this platform, that platform. You know if you need video, you need animation, you need stills, like what you need. When people are talking to you, that's how well you want to understand this stuff. But you can't skip it. You have to have this stuff under control in your head to know what you need, because once you get it here, if you didn't get it, it's too late. It's too late. You can't go back and tell them what I say last week. you can't call the bride back and say, can we go back? I missed the shot. Bride gonna be like, wedding over. Right. The rest of it gone. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, in that post-production too, with syncing and editing, a cardinal rule in any video that has audio is that audio always follows video. Audio always follows video. And then the one thing that I learned is practice.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And I have had the benefit of practicing for 40 years. So I'm telling anybody can get to whatever level you want. I'm not a big time producer. Okay? But I can produce big time, if that makes sense. I'm not one, but I could. If I want to, I could. I could do something just as good as anybody else. I just don't want to. But for y'all, you can be on whatever level you want to be. But the key is you got to find somebody that's doing it on that level and start practicing what you got to do to get there. What do I need to get there? What kind of computer, what kind of software, what kind of graphics, what kind of animation, what type of font, what type of color, what type of tools, like what do I need to get there? And you just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. And eventually, well, let me also say this, as you're doing it, you need a real friend. That's one thing everybody needs, right? Either a mirror or a friend. All right? The two things you need, a mirror or a friend. Because both of them should tell you the truth. No, that's what it is. Both of them tell you. A mirror is going to tell you the truth. A good friend is going to tell you the truth. Right? Y'all with me? You need a mirror or a friend. Somebody, when you show your stuff, they're going to tell you the truth. Not tell you what they think you want to hear. That's why some of y'all, when you call me and ask me about some stuff, I'm going to tell you the truth. You might not like it, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. If you want to be on that level, if I take what you're producing and I put it next to the person you're following and it don't match, I'm going to say, hey, what's the problem here? These don't match. This is out of focus. This is not to the beat, or this is not doing X, Y, and Z, right? Or the resolution is too low, or the graphic is, the color of the graphic doesn't allow it to stick out, or the font's too small, or the logo's too small, or something's in bitmap, or the RGB and the CMYK are fighting with each other. I'm going to tell you. Why? Because you need the truth as you're working through this thing. Okay? As you're working through it. And it's okay if you are your worst critic. That's all right. But you got to develop even that. Because the only way you're going to be able to tell the truth is you got to know what good is. You got to know what great is. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what's, and what I don't like is that when I watch Essence Music Festival and I watch the BET Awards, which I didn't really want to watch, but because I'm in this thing, I watch it. When I'm watching that stuff, I'm seeing some of the top, when I watch the NBA All-Star Weekend, some of the top producers in the country that hired to do this stuff, right? So when I'm watching them folks, I'm trying to figure out what are they doing to get it on that level. And I'm telling y'all, the challenge right now is ain't enough of us on those teams. So I'm telling you, go look at the Essence Music Festival. Look at what they were doing. Look at them graphics. Look at them animations. Look at what was on the stage. Then try to stop it and zoom in and see what's on the chairs. You know what I'm saying? The red carpet, the logo wall. What was the lights? You know what I'm saying? What kind of camera was they using? Every now and then I'll be watching something and they'll swing past the camera and I'll stop it. Like, what kind of camera is that? Was that a red camera? Was that a Sony? Was that a Canon? Like, what was that? And that's just me wanting to see. What are they using? You got to be the same way. I mean, you almost got to be relentless about that to make sure that you're aiming at a level that puts you up there with the best of them. Now, then you got to decide if you want to be in Hollywood doing what you want to do. But trust me, there's a million other people trying to do the exact same thing. How you going to stand out? What's going to make you different than anybody else? You feel me? And I know, again, for me, it is most people that know me as it don't matter what you give me. I don't care if you ask me to do a graphic for the side of the JW Marriott Hotel. I can do it. You feel me? You want to pay for it, but I can do it. Somebody come to me and they want a music video, I'm going to do it. But you can't do it. Well, guess what? When I get done, you're going to be, man, you know, I didn't know you was a music video. I'm not. You just asked me to do one. And because of the way I go at it, I went and I looked at it. I said, well, let me find out who the top music video producers are. And I go and I study that stuff. Okay, I see that. All right, cool. Big one. I like that shot. Draw a shot. Okay. Ooh, that paid. That was right. Let me get that. Right? And then I just went out and just did what is considered top notch. Right?
I've got a question. Did you do a major change between, let's say, 98 and 0? So I was in the class in 04 that was teaching us how MTV changed everything. So now we had to do quick cuts because people's attention spans got shortened. Mm-hmm. So even, like I said, about me at the church, even if I don't feel like actually changing camera angles, I know that the psychology of people is going to keep their attention more if I change from past your front angle to a side angle. Don't do anything for me. I can follow it either way. But the psychology of people. I mean, did you do I wouldn't say massive, but did you start making adjustments on cutting even when it wasn't even relevant, just based on this new research and MTV changing the way everybody hold attention?
I don't know that I did. Yeah, that's true too. I don't know that I necessarily made a change culturally. MTV did change a lot.
Yeah,
it changed a whole lot. But in terms of what you're specifically describing, not for me.
So it don't really affect you. You already had your. No, this is how you do it.
Not at all. Okay. Now it would affect me to your point. If I know that the audience that I'm dealing with is used to, 3 cameras and one over here behind the drums and one on the guitar. So the guitar is a GoPro up there. If I'm dealing with a group that that's what they're looking for, I say, send me a video of what you want. And they send me a video and I see that. I see a jib arm flying through. You know what I mean? Y'all know what a jib arm is? No. With a jib arm, you go into this place and there's a camera on this long thing and somebody's at the end with some weights and they're moving it around, right? And you might be swinging it through it. That's a jib arm. If I see jib arm shots and all that kind of stuff, I kind of know what I got to deal with. Right. But if I look at it, they show me something and it's just a talking head, right. Some people, the reason why it's a talking head is not because they wanted to talk head, they don't have the budget to do nothing else. Or they don't have the staff, they don't have people that have 2 or 3 cameras and stuff like that.
They don't have the imagination.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, or they don't have the imagination. Now, and I would argue that a lot of the things that we see in our community has more to do with the fact that people aren't visioning; they just do it, right? And then when somebody else does something, then they'll go, "Oh my God, this is they're doing too much." No, they're not doing too much. They just have a vision, and you don't.
Right.
I see it all the time.
It don't look like the same thing from episode to episode to episode. It look like it's a whole different church or it's a whole different organization because you don't have any standardization. Like if you're doing a talk show or something like that, you help yourself tremendously in post-production when you have things that repeat, like the opening graphic or, when go to commercial, then a bumper or something like that. So you don't have to recreate that every time. You go ahead and fix that one time, and then all you got to do is just change it for that particular show or episode.
So I'm gonna give you an example. I was doing a show for a church locally, and I created what's called a donut. The donut is basically the front never changes, the back never changes, but the middle changes, right? And so that made production very easy because all I had to do was duplicate the timeline from the previous, take out the old one, stick the new one in there, adjust it, and then change all the lower thirds. The scriptures, the titles, the names, and stuff that went over top. Change all the lower thirds, and I was done. But it was a donut, right? Pretty much it was one camera. They don't want to do nothing else. I can't make them do nothing else. If they like it, I love it. I didn't used to be that way. I used to have a lot of pride in what I did, and then I came to the conclusion that I could do something that I think is amazing. And I can send it to the client, and the client hates it. Conversely, I have done logos for people, and I sit there and I've done the logo, and I've done maybe 10 of them. And then I have stuff hanging out on the pasteboard, little graphs, and I'll say, well, I got to do something with that. So I'll take that, and I'll just cobble together the 11. And I send it to the client. I'll number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Send it to him. And the client likes number 11. And I'll go,
the one I threw together.
Yeah, the one I threw together. So if I like it, I can't be married to it. Because if the client don't like it, it really don't matter if I like it.
They're paying the money.
They're the ones paying the money. But if I don't like it, don't be twisted when the client comes back and says, I'm not. I was sitting, no, I'm talking about stuff I do together. I hate it, and they love it. I was sitting in my basement doing an album cover for a jazz musician, saxophonist. We were sitting there, and I'm just trying to figure out what he wants, because normally I don't want somebody sitting right behind me while I'm working. Ooh, oh, I hate that. Oh, I don't want that. I don't like that. But he was sitting there, and I'm trying to work, and I was doing the work with him. He said, stop. Like, what? He said, that's it. I'm like, what? I was just clicking through stuff. He said, that. He said, back it up. So I'm undo, trying to get that. What? I like that right there. I'm like, dude, that really ain't nothing. I mean, that's not anything. It's like, that's a mistake. He's like, I love it. And if you look up Joe Johnson to this day, he's got a red and black album cover that we did in my basement in Nashville, Tennessee. That was a mistake. And he loved it. And I was like, it is what it is. Now, I'm going to hit one other thing and I'm going to let y'all go. Because I'm right at 7, I think. I got one more thing. Music selection. Music can make your project live, and it can kill your project. Ambient sound. Ambient music. Y'all, I have an account with, what's my account? I have Epidemic Sound. Epidemic Sound is what I use to find audio and what they call folly. Walking, thunder, whatever. I can sit in Epidemic Sound. I can sit for an hour just trying to find the right audio track that tells a story. An hour. I can listen to 2 seconds of a song or a music thing and no, that's not it. That's not going to do it. Because here's the thing. The very beginnings of the audio tracks are what tells you where we're going. If it starts out, if it starts out, I need something that's hopeful, I need something to build. So you got to learn, with the audio, you got to learn what terms deliver the kind of results that you want with your audio tracks. Music is major. So if y'all get a chance to look me up on Vimeo, I don't know where I am on Vimeo, Vimeo.com/Girt. Vimeo.com/GIRT. You can look at some of the latest videos. I just did one last weekend for a lady down in Nashville. Just the simple stuff, again, thrown together. She wanted her life story. She lives in Nashville. I didn't have a whole lot of time. I went down there and told her to put her photos in order. And then I told her to just talk through the photos while I recorded her voice.
Video.com what?
It's Vimeo, Vimeo. If you don't know Vimeo, get to know Vimeo. That's like YouTube for professionals.
Vimeo.com?
Yes, Vimeo.com, then /GIRT. Check it out and watch some of those videos. And if you see something that you go, how do you do that? Come ask me, and I'll tell you how I did. Well, go there, follow me, and then you can talk to me. Okay. See what I'm saying? And if you follow me, whenever I produce something and upload it, you'll get a click and say, hey, check this out. You just uploaded something else. Okay. Any questions about skill set? We talked about video, we talked about podcasts. We'll get to some other things later. But on August 18th, I'm going to try to get to something. It's not, so maybe I got the date.
Today is the 18th.
Of August.
That's a Sunday.
Okay, I got the date wrong. This is the free book I promised y'all. If you came, this is the How to Turn Passion into Profit. Okay? And I'm done. Nobody else gets a book.
Oh, I can take passion though. Did you give me one already? Look, you didn't give me one.
That's why I had extra. I was like, I had.
Yeah, I don't get on my books no more. It's a long time ago.
I don't get a book, so it's all good.
I thought I gave you one.
I'll have mine read by the
I mean, she
time
got
see it.
access to the whole box. I don't know what
Are you watching this? What'd you say? This already, but what we're talking about ultimately is being a professional, and that means you get paid for it. So have you talked about how you structure your fees, how you structure,
No. And that really is a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother topic. Because it's nowadays, I did talk about the commoditization of our industry, meaning that with the tools being so accessible, now you got people out here doing videos for $25. You got people doing graphics for $15. You know what I mean? Honestly, back in the day, I was charging $195 an hour. And I still, well, actually, I was charging $165 an hour. I still charge $195 an hour today. But the reason why I can charge $195 an hour is because of my experience. It's what I bring. And what takes me 5 minutes takes somebody else 5 minutes. And Faith can tell you that. You can give me a project, a video project, I'll have that joker done in 4 hours. You give that same video project to somebody else, it takes 4 weeks. And when they're done, you're going to have to send it to me anyway, because you won't be able to fix it. And that's real talk. So never underestimate, as you're learning this craft, never underestimate how powerful experience is, because that justifies how much you charge. Not only that, the equipment you bring in. If I walk in with an iPhone charging $195 an hour, they're gonna look at me like I'm crazy. But when I walk in with my rig, with my camera rig, with my center lens on it, they're like, oh yeah, that's what we bring in. We get it. That's a big deal.
what's it called when you have examples of your
Portfolio.
Portfolio, right.
Mm-hmm.
You create a portfolio, then that justifies when you
all day long.
Yeah.
You know, so when you go to my video account, I don't know if everybody, but if you go to there, it's like, I don't know, 400 videos there. When you go to my Apple iTunes, there's like 500 podcasts there. You know what I mean? So that's what they call, what do y'all call it? Social proof.
Yeah.
That's kind of like production proof. It's like, okay, this dude is not a movie. You know? So yeah, I charge $195 an hour, and I'm gonna get it. Now, I'm not against the person that charges $25. I just want to know, are you gonna stay there? Is this where you're gonna leave? Because if you charge $25 an hour, you're gonna be an amateur for the rest of your life. You can't bring home the bacon like that, right? But you got to use the right tools. You have to have the right equipment. You have to have the right software. We come in without an interchangeable lens to a wedding. What? You know what I'm saying? There's a 12-year-old got the same thing. What are you doing? You know? And we talked about that. We were like, what's the tools you use? Said Canon. And it's like, you can't stop there. Like, you want to be a professional, you got to step your game up. And that requires sacrifice of time, an investment of time to learn what it takes to be on that level to charge those fees.
An investment of money, you know?
Yeah. All day long.
If you want the best product, you need the best equipment.
You got to have it.
You have to give up some cigarettes or some whatever it is that you spend money on.
And one of the things we talked about last week that y'all didn't get a chance to hear was we talked about the nomenclature. Y'all remember that? The nomenclature. What that word means is that you have to know the language of the industry. Don't tell me you want to be a musician and you don't know who Stravinsky is. Don't tell me you want to be a painter and you don't know who Van Gogh is. You can't tell me you want to be a videographer and you don't know who Carl, I can't think of this, Carl, that he has a whole move named after him. I can't think of his name now. I can't think of it. It's Carl something. Basically, when you watch a video and it goes like this, his name is Carl something. All right, and when you go to Final Cut or to Premiere, you find that move is in the software. Ken Burns, that's it. I know something. I did. Ken Burns. Yeah, Ken Burns. So to say you want to be in video, you don't know Ken Burns. It's like you gotta know. You gotta be a student of the industry. So when we say things like blocking and nose room and head room and vector and we start talking about Final Cut and we start talking about Advent and we talking about Premiere and we talking about what's that other free one? Sony's free software, DaVinci Resolve, when it was that Sony software. When we're talking that stuff, if you can't go along with that conversation, then you need to go back and do some more study. When I went to Lucas Oil Stadium, we were, now I'm bringing my crew in to work along with their crew. I'm able to talk their language because I'm a student of the language. So I'm talking HDMI transmitters. I'm talking about black magic. I'm talking about switcher terms. You know what I'm saying? That's the nomenclature of the industry. When you know the language of the industry, when you're talking, you say a certain word, she hears it and goes, that person knows what they're talking about. Are you with me? If she keeps talking long enough, he's like, whoa, she just said X. It's like, you got your attention. Because everybody don't know the language of the industry. And you know who's a professional, and you know who's an amateur, based on what comes up.
The worst thing is to have your client know more than you know.
That's never.
Oh my God. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming. God bless you. Real good.
God bless you.
You got your book. I'm going to keep giving stuff away. So y'all keep coming.
Let us know that.
These are free sessions.
Figure out the next date.
But I want you,
Please let us know. Are you coming down the hall, Pastor G?